All right, Seahawks. We're gonna pretend like last week didn't happen. It was a great game, but we got Giants up next week. What do we got?
We have Danny Dimes
Danny
and the
Pennies,
Giants.
Danny
Danny
Nichols at best.
Pennies. Danny. Hey, it's
Put Danny DeVito out there.
not Danny DeVito.
Tommy DeVito.
No, it was good, but Dan, I got it. It was just that's still funny to me.
So
Um
Seahawks play the Giants next week.
at Seattle. So it's gonna be a home game for us. Yay.
Yay!
Um and this is I kind of said this in another video, but this is more of a game that is winnable if we do our stuff correctly. Because I don't want to take what we did with the Detroit game into this, where like we have no pass rush and we're basically like we're gonna like, we make Daniel Jones look good, kind of thing. I hate it when we go against like arguably like I wouldn't say the
Very
worst
mid
quarterback.
quarterbacks. Very mid
Very mid,
quarterback.
yeah, a very mid quarterback, but all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it's a career high game against the Seahawks and da, 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 da. Like, no, I ain't doing that again because we did that with um who was it? It was
The one that
Red
we talked.
Rifle, Red
Yeah,
Rifle himself,
and then
because he
the
was on
one,
another team.
and then the one I think I was talking about was Matt Schaub when he was on Atlanta and he threw for 500 yards against us.
Yeah, so like it's just one of those things where, Daniel Jones, you can actually, as you can see, even not even just with the Cowboys game, he is stoppable. Um, Especially he is very stoppable as long as you can have a pass rush against him. I'm not saying he has to be constant every play, but you get after Daniel Jones, he won't be able to throw the ball as much. He only has about like 881 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions so far in the season. So, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you can stop him, that kind of stops everything because they do have, two running or a running back in Devin Singletary. They have a runner, I would say, in Daniel Jones because he's the second leading rusher on the team so far in the season with 70 yards
Yeah.
compared to Devin Singletary's 221. Um, Malik Neighbors, I don't know if you heard of him, but
Malik Neighbors is the only reason that Daniel Jones should be giving his paycheck to Malik Neighbors because without Malik Neighbors, he would be like bottom of the barrel quarterback right
oh,
now.
he
Well, I'm not
knows.
saying that like Danny Jones can't be any better or anything like that. I mean, the evidence is against him, but Malik Neighbors is he's playing like a what he is doing for Daniel Jones is arguably similar to like what Marvin Harrison Jr. is doing for like Kyler, right? Like
Yeah,
just fuck it, Malik is somewhere over there.
basically, especially Malik. He has about 35 receptions with 52 targets, 388 yards, 3 touchdowns, right? Compared to the second and third people running up behind him, right? So second place in their receiving is Wandale Robinson, which he's been a solid receiver too for them, in my opinion. But here's the thing, a total of 38 targets and 26 receptions. That's already a big drop off in terms of number of targets. So they already know feed Malik Neighbors the ball. They're already on that. I think Wandale Robinson is the only other receiver with a touchdown, not even including running backs. So
Yeah.
only two receivers have touchdowns on that team, with Malik Neighbors having three of them, three of the four. So that'll tell you something. You stop Malik Neighbors, and if we can, like, at least if we have to eliminate one player on the offensive side of Giants, if you eliminate Malik Neighbors out of the picture,
Game's
we'll
wide
have a good
open.
game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's the key matchup to look for. In the Lions or in the Cowboys Giants game, Malik Neighbors had 12 of 15 targets for 115 yards. Like he's clearly the guy. Like Devin Singletary, had 14 carries for 24 yards. Not saying that he can't have a
He's had some
great.
games. He's
He
had some
can't. Yeah.
solid games.
He not saying he can't have one against the Seahawks, but like in terms of
After
the
the
offense,
Lions, I'm
yeah,
sorry, after the Lions came out, I'm sorry to interrupt you. After the Lions came out and kind of opened up the holes on us, pause, going from pause. But no, after the Lions did with the run game on us, we have to be careful of Devin Singletary.
did not expect that in the middle.
You got it, brother.
All right,
Continue.
let me just compose myself a little bit here. But yeah,
Oh man.
I think you're onto something there. But I forgive my ignorance. I haven't heard anything to write home about the offensive line of the Giants. I think that for the Seahawks, the key matchup, they're going to scheme. The Seahawks are clearly a team that schemes now. They're not out there throwing the same offense and defense and saying figure it out. Like
Mm-hmm.
we saw it against the Lions, we see it
Oh yeah.
against other opponents as well. We'll adapt our game plan, assuming we have the personnel out there to execute it. That wasn't the case with the Lions. Missing essentially our starting four defensive linemen with Uchenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Byron Murphy,
Leonard
Leonard
Williams, I believe.
Williams.
Yeah.
I think Byron Murphy is still going to be out. I don't know what the status is on the other three, but I think the matchup to watch is assuming that we try to scheme for covering Malik Neighbors and maybe want we play solid on the wide receivers. I think the matchup is going to definitely be the Seahawks defensive line versus that Giants offensive line, because we know if you get pressure on Daniel Jones, he will make mistakes. He has
Oh
it in
yeah,
him.
for sure. And I would just say, like, and then I think the only thing to talk about on their, like, the Giants defensive side is, obviously Kayvon Thibodeau. Like,
Yeah,
be
you can't
careful of
forget
him.
him.
You can't forget him. He's on the edge. As long as if he's on Charles Cross, that'll be an interesting matchup unless they put him on our right tackle. Otherwise, Micah McFadden has been getting a lot of tackles for that team, leading in tackles with 27 total tackles. So otherwise, you know, man, Isaiah Simmons is on this team too.
Yeah, he used to be on the Cardinals, right?
Mm-hmm. There's like he was kind of like the prototype
Linebacker,
linebacker.
safety, kind of hybrid, weird.
Can put him in multiple positions. So
Yeah.
he's been playing on. He played in all four games. Not as much production, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, just watch I would just kind of watch on those things. As long as our offensive line doesn't make mistakes or as long as we can protect Geno, Geno will pass the ball and we can go from there.
How many times have we talked? I feel like we're going to come out of this game angry, and I am here for it.
I hope so.
Like
I hope
you
so.
saw how heated I was. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and catch our Seahawks Week 4 review against the Lions, because I got heated by the officiating. But the level of intensity that I think we're going to bring into this game after what we saw last time, like we were slinging it. Geno hasn't put 400 yards up passing in his career ever. It was a career high day for him. If that offensive line gives him a foundation to play that type of an offense, granted that game turned into a shootout. I don't know if we're the kind of team yet that's going to go out there and try to put 40 points on a team, or we're one of those teams that's going to try to play chess instead of in chess and try to keep it close, keep it within arm's reach and then just win it at the end. But
Yeah.
I, as a fan, after seeing what I saw against the Lions, am hoping that we go out there and we just punch people in the face. Like,
That's all I want to see too, and I want to see K9 have a field day running on this team. I really
welcome back,
want.
K9, because that was a big difference.
Oh yeah, I really want to see that. I think I'm not saying their defense is just like I won't say that the defense is like terrible or anything like that. I would say like middle of the road. They can stop the pass here and there. They can stop a run. I mean, they were able to stop Dak and the Cowboys. Would you have to at least? Here's one thing. We hate the Cowboys around here, but they have offensive pieces. And if you still have Dak, Dak can, especially in garbage time, can even throw a lot of balls too. But they even were able to just keep that down to like a very defensive game with field goals and some touchdowns here and there, right? So, what can you do?
Yeah, and just to round us out here, let's just say definitively, who do we got this game? I think
Seahawks.
Yeah, come on.
Like, I know last week I definitely said Seahawks, but I definitely felt like if we did lose, it was okay to lose against the Lions.
That was
But
an
this
okay
one,
win. This is not.
this
an okay
one, I
win
don't
to
want it.
lose.
It's not okay. If we lose against the Giants, we have to look at some things. We're not at the level of like, oh, let's start trading people or anything like that this season. If we have a losing season, it is what it is. But hey, we'll have a higher pick. I'm not saying go for the higher pick, but let's just see what we can do. And this one is a winnable game by the Seahawks
Yeah.
if we do what we're supposed to do.
And the injury report so far, at the time of recording this, we are all of our offensive line or our defensive linemen are listed as questionable,
Mm-hmm.
and they're estimated to return on Sunday. So we'll see. But they also have, at least as of right now, Drew Phillips and Adoree Jackson, the cornerbacks. Adoree Jackson being a starter, are listed as questionable. Malik Neighbors is also listed as questionable.
He had a concussion. That's what we forgot. He had a concussion in the Cowboys game.
He got his bell rung, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's one to
And
keep an eye on. Then, if
oh
Malik
yeah,
Neighbors
they
isn't out there, then what are we even doing out here?
yeah, if he's not there, it's that after that point, just watch the running game. Don't get it twisted. Robinson can still step up, maybe not be like Malik Neighbors, but he will still give production. But yeah, if you take Malik Neighbors out with a concussion, I mean, it is what it is on that one.
I mean, if you look at, I'm just comparing season leaders here. Um, Malik, or we know Gino versus Danny Jones. Gino's at almost 1,200 yards passing. Danny Jones is at 900 with 4 touchdowns and 3 picks for Danny, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks for Gino. But a lot of those, I think one of those came in like garbage time and that kind of thing. Devin Singletary has 221 yards compared with 2 touchdowns compared to Kenneth Walker on 56 carries. And Kenneth Walker has on 32 carries 183 yards and 4 touchdowns. So
Hmm.
we know that rushing the ball, we have the advantage of there as well. And Malik
Oh yeah.
Neighbors with 35 receptions, 386 yards, 3 tuds, compared to DK Metcalf, who has 366 for 2 tuds on the Seahawks. So yeah, it's going to come down to, I think, that I think it always comes down to the trenches. That's our brand. And so if the trenches
Hmm.
are good, I think the Seahawks have it. I'll ask you one last question before we
Hmm.
sign off. The saying goes, good teams win, great teams cover. So the spread out here is -6 for the Seahawks. So Seahawks to win by a touchdown. Do we think Seahawks will cover?
I think they'll cover.
I think they'll cover too.
I think more. I'll just go higher. I'll go higher. That's what I
You don't get
want,
extra
but
credit when you're betting in Vegas, so we got to just say, oh, we take it or not.
I'll take like you have to take high or low. I'll take the high on that one, like above 6, if you will.
Yeah.
There is one thing I wanted to add is some rankings like for the Giants, which is interesting. They're 30th in rushing yards in the league right now.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah,
That comes that
25th and
that comes down to offensive line play, maybe not the personnel to run the ball.
30th in rushing yards, 16th in passing yards. The one thing is what they're very high in is sacks. They're third in the NFL in sacks with
Okay, so
15
that's something
right
to look
now.
out for.
Yeah, 15 total sacks on the team. That's third overall. I don't think there's not everything else is kind of middle of the pack. Interceptions are they're at 24th because they only have one, but some teams already have a lot of one. And then points scored per game, they're 29th with 15
Ah,
points scored per game at the current as of this time. So I think if we can just stop no mistakes, no sacks, if you at least go with that, I think we can come out with the win
I
big
just want
time
them.
on
I
this
just want
one.
them to go out there and punch them in the face, man.
Yes, please play angry.
Yeah.
Except don't not angry to where we get offensive OPI calls, but
Oh
play
yeah,
angry.
that was an aggressive OPI call against Tyler Lockett. Don't get me started again.
I won't.
All right, thanks for tuning in with us here at Miss Reps. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time.
Peace.